This is one complicated shoe. Hey everybody, Born to Run coach Eric Orton here. And when INOV8 contacted me to ask if I would be interested in testing out and reviewing the Parkclaw G280, I was a little apprehensive. And this is where this shoe for me gets complicated. This is an 8 mil drop. And I tend to I prefer 0 drop to 4 mil. And sometimes in some cases 6 mil. One of my favorite shoes is the INOV8 Terra Ultra, which is now the Trail Fly G270. One of the best shoes ever. Back to the Parkclaw. 8 mil drop. They're segmented as a road to trail shoe. And so I started to look at it. And my history with INOV8 goes way, way back. My first pair of INOV8 was, I believe, in 2006. Right after my return trip from the Copper Canyon that eventually became the story of Born to Run. And so I've loved INOV8 from that day, 2006 on. They've been my go-to shoe for a variety of reasons. Like I mentioned, one of the best shoes ever. And I've tried almost every shoe that they have, and I've loved what they're doing. Which again brings me back to the Parkclaw. I live in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The Tetons have mountains right outside my back door, which is you're gonna see in a minute. So when I really started to dive in to look at this shoe, I knew it was something I immediately wanted to try, regardless of whether it was an 8 mil or not. And it was because of the outsole. This outsole with these grooves are amazing. Look how flexible that is. And my whole philosophy of shoes is I want to be as natural as possible, to let my feet work as naturally as possible. And so when I immediately saw this design on the website, I said, yes, I need to try this shoe, because in my mind, I immediately knew how I might use this shoe for me and how I might ultimately suggest it for some of my athletes. So INOV8 has this listed as an 18 mil stack height in the heel, going to a 10 in the forefoot with a 4 mil lug. That's my sweet spot for what I prefer up front in the forefoot. I am a 4-foot striker, and I'm going to use my old Terra Ultra G270 to show this. This shoe is going on 3+ years old, and you can see it's had some good use to it, but still going strong. And you can see the wear and tear from the years of use, and you can see how I'm a 4-foot striker. Now compare this with the heel. Okay, there we go. I have very good form, and I again strike 4-foot first. And since I'm on mountains, that my heel stays elevated a lot because I'm on so much vertical. There you can see all the dimples are still there from a brand new shoe. 8 mil drop. If I'm using this in the mountains, maybe the 8 mil drop isn't as much of a concern to me, because I am really staying off my heel and I don't notice that drop. Where I'm excited about this shoe, and we're gonna get in, I'm gonna go for a run and take you through how this shoe excels in so many different environments. Again, going back to how flexible this is what I'm excited about, is now I have a shoe that gives me supreme natural movement, allowing my foot to operate well in the mountains, but also giving me really good ground feel and the protection because of the stack height. So to me, with this outsole and these grooved flexed, they call it the Metaflex, okay, it's allowing my foot to work naturally. And that to me is the holy grail of any good shoe and what I look for. All right, before I head out for a run, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some things that are going on with the shoe that I've noticed so far. Is that one, you can see how I have it laced. This is a size 44.5 European. That's typically my go-to size in INOV8. And this is a little short for me. This is also a size 4 fit on INOV8's fit scale. They have 1 through 5, 5 being the widest. Let's go back to the Terra Ultra. Okay, this is a width number 5 on their fit scale, which is their widest, and is a little too wide for me. I would prefer the 4, but the Parkclaw is a little short for me in my normal INOV8 size. So I would recommend highly that you size up half a size. And so what I did is I kind of laced these in the second lace eyelet to give me a little bit more wiggle room because these are a little short for me, and that really helped. And lastly, Parkclaw G280. What's the G? Graphene. That's INOV8's calling card with their new shoes. A lot of their new shoes have graphene in the midsole and the outsole. Long story short, helps with energy return, what they call bounce. Amazing energy return, super, super comfy with, again, a very, very natural feel. And that's what's important to me. I don't like high stack cushion shoes. This is a perfect blend of what INOV8 calls bounce or energy return with good ground feel and good natural feel to allow the feet to work naturally. Super, super important to me. The other part is the graphene infused in the outsole helps with longevity. And going back to my experience with the Terra Ultra, my favorite shoe, longevity here is top notch, top notch. This upper is beautiful. It's just super, super well made and just a dynamite looking shoe. And I think the upper is going to last just as long as the graphene in the outsole will. So, all right, we're going to head outside. We're going to go on an adventure. We're going to see where this really excels. And if this is a road to trail shoe, where does it lean? Does it lean more toward being great for trails, or does it lean more to the roadside? Or is it great at everything? We're going to find out. Let's go.
So ever since the pandemic and COVID hit, I wanted to get away from having to drive and go create my own door to trail adventures. And that's what I'm gonna take you on today. This is my favorite loop. We're gonna head right up this canyon and do a big loop in the back of all these mountains and come out and around. So let's go. We've got a 2,000 foot climb coming. I'll be out of breath and I'm just gonna show it to you. But these shoes on the road, on the tarmac, are really, really clean, really, really smooth. If you look at the lug pattern and the outsole, I think 98 lugs on each shoe. This gives an unbelievably smooth ride, coupled with the Metaflex grooves in the midsole and outsole. It just feels really, really, really good. And I guess the best way to describe it is you feel like you have a road shoe on, which is obviously the intent of this shoe. But we're now gonna go find out, how does it compare on the trail? How does it compare on every type of terrain you're gonna hit? And you're gonna be surprised at how well this performs, because it's a bear of a shoe. Spoiler alert, this is a unique trail shoe in and of itself. regardless of whether it's a road to trail shoe, this is a very, very unique shoe that you're going to want to try. On the initial climb, like I mentioned, it was 2,000 feet of climbing. We climb it 2,000 feet in about 2.5 miles. We're seeing grades of 20% or plus, very steep, very loose, very dry, very fast terrain. And this shoe grips everything. There's no slippage, especially on the steep, loose terrain. I'm just gripping, and again, I'm in kind of a combo of hiking and running at this point, and it's just sublime. And you're gonna hear me, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. These Metaflex grooves are the bomb, okay? That's what makes this shoe shine. The combination of the graphene rubber gives you comfort without a huge stack height, and add that to the Metaflex grooves, you have one of the most natural feeling, comfortable shoes that will allow you to go for a very, very long time. And that's unique. Normally, to get this comfort, you might have to go up in stack height, and then you lose the natural ability, articulation of your toes, your feet, and being able to be stable. I'm feeling the ground, I'm feeling the rocks, but it's complete performance-based natural feel, and it's just really, really nice. We even hit a little false summit with a little downhill that's a pretty primitive trail and pretty uneven terrain, and I was so nimble running down that. No worry of how your feet are gonna react. You're running with your feet, not with your shoes. We finished the climb to an amazing view of wildflowers and the Tetons in the background with still some snow lingering in the summertime. And it's just a really, really great climb. But now we're gonna head down. We got some primitive trails. Again, a lot of slow, kind of dancing around, uneven terrain that you can't necessarily see. So you have to slow down and rely on your feet. So this is where this shoe, I feel, is really gonna help me, because I run a lot of these trails that I don't often feel stable because I can't see the ground because of it's such a primitive trail, and this shoe shines. So let's head downhill. My enthusiasm for this shoe right now is all based on being on trails, and it is an unbelievable trail shoe. Just kind of what I was hoping for when I first took a look at it. What I'm really liking about the downhill and even the uphill is that for me to have good rock protection on all the loose, small rocks that I'm encountering, you might need a rock plate that tends to toss you around, especially on a downhill on this uneven terrain. So now I have those flex grooves with wonderful protection because of the foam and the rubber, where I don't need a rock plate and I get the natural feel of the shoe itself. And I think that's the holy grail of this shoe, is that now running downhill, my foot's articulating. Again, I keep saying I'm running with my feet, not my shoes. I'm not getting tossed around because I have a rock plate in. I have the flexibility, the natural feel, so it allows me to have the dexterity, agility of my feet rather than being controlled by the shoe. Just wonderful. And this comes into play when things get really technical. When we start throwing rocks, big rocks, technical terrain where you have to dance around bigger rocks, okay? My feet, my shoes are sticking to these rocks, giving me that agility that I need and to navigate this technical terrain. So again, just a wonderful, wonderful trail feel on all of this variety of terrain. I have no fear or concern of what my feet are able to do on this technical terrain. I can just let my feet do the job, and the shoes kind of just follow and do their job. And so I'm extremely confident with this type of terrain, with quick feet, quick agility, and just navigating down all this technical terrain. So if you're a runner who runs in a very high stack height shoe, a maximal shoe, looking for a little bit more agility, a little bit more feel of the ground without losing comfort, this shoe might be for you. And if you're more of a natural runner, a minimal runner who want that shoe articulation to allow your feet to work, but maybe find yourself wanting a little bit more comfort and a little bit more protection without losing the natural feel, this is a great option. And as I'm making my way down the canyon, down this downhill, bombing down it, having fun, being agile, being an athlete, as I get closer and closer to the end of the downhill, the trail's gonna start getting better and better and better, faster and faster and faster. And now this Jekyll and Hyde shoe, I can just put it in overdrive and cruise this smooth butter single track, just like a road shoe. All right, I'm coming to the end of my trail. I've got 5K home on tarmac, and this is where the shoe continues to shine and to be unique. Now, my legs are feeling it from the adventure, and I'm finishing up on hard tarmac, and these shoes are just gonna absorb that for me and make it feel just like a plush ride all the way home, which isn't always the case with a trail dedicated shoe, where it might not have the comfort of this shoe. So, but first, across the street, there's a burger and a beer waiting for me, and then I'm on my way home. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.